Right, folks, buckle up because the Rangers are right in the middle of one of the most important moments of the season, if not the entire year. The hunt for a new permanent manager is in full swing, and things are heating up at Ibrox, even with Barry Ferguson holding the fort and picking up some promising results. The general feeling is that he won't be the man trusted to take the club forward in the long run. No disrespect to the former captain who's always given his all for the badge, but the board seems determined to bring in fresh leadership to steer the team into the future. And now we've got a massive update. None other than Fabrizio Romano, the go-to guy for transfer and managerial news across Europe, has confirmed that Rangers are closing in on an agreement for a new permanent manager. This isn't just speculation anymore. Talks are advanced and we're on the brink of an official announcement. The deal is described as being incredibly close, and while the name hasn't been stamped on the dotted line yet, all signs point towards a significant appointment. At the heart of this search club, officials are working tirelessly to get this decision right. With the summer transfer window looming and the Champions League qualifiers right around the corner, there's no time to waste. The club has been without a permanent manager since Philippe Clement's departure back in February. And while Barry Ferguson has provided stability, the board wants a new face, a fresh vision, and someone who can handle the pressure of bringing silverware back to Ibrox. Interestingly, one of the names gaining serious traction is Davide Ancelotti. Yes, that's right, the son of the legendary Carlo Ancelotti. Now, before anyone rolls their eyes thinking this is just nepotism, let's get something straight. Davide isn't just riding on his father's coattails. He's been a crucial part of Real Madrid's coaching staff, deeply involved in tactical preparations and training sessions. Sources close to Madrid have often said Carlo trusts his son with the finer details, especially when it comes to modern tactics and player development. But the potential appointment of Ancelotti Jr. would be a bold move. It would mark a clear departure from Rangers' recent trend of going for managers with either a connection to the club or prior experience in Scottish football. This time, the search is broader, more ambitious, and certainly more international. Behind the scenes, Kevin Thelwell and Greta Steinson are leading the charge. Both of them have solid experience, particularly from their time at Everton, and are keen to bring in a manager who aligns with their long-term vision. Now, this whole managerial search is happening in parallel with a major change in ownership. The 49ers Enterprises are poised to take over the club, and while that process hasn't been fully finalized, it's not slowing down the hunt for a new gaffer. Thelwell might not have officially started his role as sporting director yet, but he's already hands-on conducting interviews and narrowing down the list of candidates alongside Steinson. Back to Davide Ancelotti. Reports from Italy and Spain have been intensifying over the last few days, pointing to serious negotiations between the young coach and Rangers. Romano's latest update has only added fuel to the fire. For a manager who's only 35 years old, stepping into a role as big as Rangers would be a huge leap, especially without the shadow of his father directly beside him. But those who've worked with Davide speak highly of his professionalism, his tactical acumen, and his ability to connect with players. It's worth remembering that Carlo Ancelotti himself will be moving on from Real Madrid at the end of the season, with his next challenge being the Brazilian national team ahead of the 2026 World Cup. That departure could free up David to seek his own path, to step out from his father's shadow. And what better place to do that than at a historic club like Rangers? But Rangers aren't putting all their eggs in one basket. The list of candidates is long and diverse, including names from the Red Bull coaching network, which has strong ties to the 49ers. The idea is clear: bring in a progressive coach, someone who understands modern football dynamics, but also respects the traditions and expectations of a club like Rangers. The goal is to have this appointment wrapped up within the next month. Of course, this isn't the first time Rangers have faced such a pivotal decision. Since Steven Gerrard's departure in 2021, the club has gone through 3 different managers. Each time the pressure to get it right has been immense, and this time is no different. The next appointment needs to be someone capable of long-term success, not just a short-term fix. Barry Ferguson himself has been vocal about the urgency. After the recent draw against Celtic, he emphasized how critical it is for the club to move quickly. With the transfer window approaching and Champions League qualifiers looming, the new manager needs to hit the ground running. Ferguson knows the demands of a job better than most, and his comments reflect the general sentiment among the fan base. Time is of the essence. But Ferguson's not the only former Ranger in the conversation. Russell Martin, who previously played for the club, has also been linked with the managerial role. After his stint at Southampton, where he achieved promotion to the Premier League but struggled in the top flight, Martin has been weighing his next move carefully. Speaking recently, he admitted he's turned down other job offers, waiting for the right opportunity. While his name has been mentioned, it appears Rangers are aiming for someone with a slightly different profile this time around. Martin's managerial philosophy, centered around an attractive possession-based style of play, does fit the modern football narrative. However, his recent record has been patchy, and with Rangers needing immediate results as well as a long-term project, the board might prefer a candidate with experience at the highest levels of European competition. Still, the fact that names like Ancelotti and Martin are even in the conversation shows how diverse the club's thinking is right now. They're not limiting themselves to traditional choices or safe bets. There's a clear desire to bring in someone who can evolve the team's playing style, compete for domestic honors, and make a serious push in Europe. It's also important to mention how much influence the incoming ownership group is having on these decisions. The 49ers Enterprises, with their connections to data-driven recruitment and modern football structures, are pushing for a manager who aligns with that philosophy. That's why names from the Red Bull system are being considered, given their success in building competitive teams through innovative coaching and smart recruitment. In the midst of all this, Rangers' recent withdrawal from a planned postseason friendly in Australia has raised some eyebrows. The trip was supposed to involve a 5-day stay with a match against Olympiacos penciled in for the 28th of May. However, with the club's progression in the Europa League and the congested fixture schedule, the decision was made to cancel the trip. It's the second time in 3 years that Rangers have pulled out of an Australian friendly after the controversial Sydney Super Cup debacle involving Celtic. That situation had sparked a backlash from supporters, and this latest cancellation, while for different reasons, shows the club is prioritizing competitive integrity over commercial opportunities. All in all, the mood around Ibrox is one of cautious optimism. The managerial search is well underway, the ownership transition is moving forward, and there's a sense that big changes are on the horizon. Fans are eager for clarity, wanting to know who will lead the team into the next chapter. But at the same time, there's an understanding that getting this decision right is more important than rushing it. With every passing day, the anticipation grows. Will it be Davide Ancelotti stepping into his first senior managerial role? Will the club opt for a more experienced head from the Red Bull network? Or could there be a surprise candidate waiting in the wings? One thing's for sure, the next few weeks are going to be crucial in shaping the future of Rangers Football Club. While the focus has been firmly on who will be the next man in the Ibrox dugout, there's a bigger picture that can't be ignored. The way Rangers approach this summer is going to set the tone for the entire season ahead. We're not just talking about a new manager coming in and shaking a few things up. This is about reshaping the squad, refining the club's identity, and making sure Rangers can actually compete, not just domestically, but in Europe as well. One of the reasons there's so much urgency around this appointment is because of the Champions League qualifiers. They come at you fast. Before you know it, the squad is back in pre-season, the games are rolling in, and there's no time to experiment. That's why Ferguson's been hammering home the need to act quickly. The last thing the club can afford is going into those qualifiers without a settled manager and a clear plan. Financially, it's a crucial period too. European competition brings in vital revenue, and with Celtic continuing to raise the bar, Rangers have to keep pace. The days of relying purely on domestic dominance are gone. The supporters want more. They want nights like Braga, Dortmund, Leipzig. They want Ibrox rocking on a European night, and for that to happen, the right leadership is essential. Behind closed doors, there's been a lot of talk about the profile of the next manager. Experience is valuable, no doubt, but Rangers are also looking for someone who can bring fresh ideas. The likes of David Ancelotti offer that blend. Young, tactically sharp, but with bigger exposure from working at Real Madrid. Whispers around Govan have grown to a roar as speculation mounts that Steven Gerrard is on the verge of a sensational return to Rangers as head coach. While the club has yet to make an official announcement, sources close to both parties suggest the deal is all but sealed. pending final formalities. For many fans, it feels less like a rumor and more like the calm before the blue storm. Gerrard, who famously led Rangers to their historic 55th league title in the 2020-21 season, left Ibrox. In 2021 for Aston Villa, a move met with mixed emotions from the Ibrox faithful. Though his tenure in the Premier League was ultimately cut short, his legacy at Rangers remains intact and now appears poised to grow even further. The return of the former Liverpool captain could signal a broader rebuild at the club following a turbulent period marked by inconsistency and managerial instability. Supporters, still reeling from recent disappointments, have rallied behind the idea of Gerrard's return, seeing it as a chance to restore the swagger and steel that defined his first spell in Glasgow. It's understood Gerrard has been indiscreet. Talks with the Rangers board for several weeks, with discussions centering on long-term project goals and increased control over recruitment. With the summer transfer window fast approaching, the timing of his potential reappointment is crucial. Rangers' domestic rivals are strengthening, and Gerrard's familiarity with the pressures and expectations at Ibrox could give the light. Blues a vital edge heading into the new season. Though nothing has been confirmed on record, the signs are undeniable. Gerrard has remained tight-lipped, but his recent absence from the punditry circuit has only fanned the flames. Meanwhile, key figures within the club are believed to be laying the groundwork for a formal unveiling within days. One thing is certain. Should Gerrard walk back through the Ibrox doors, he won't be doing so quietly. The weight of expectation will be enormous, but so too will the hope. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.